Hello everyone! Today I will be showing you how to make this large door I showed off in my recent Reddit post. And because so many of you wanted a tutorial for it, I decided to make one. This door will be 14 blocks high, and it can be as wide as you want it to be. In this case it's 16 blocks wide, but it can easily be modified to be any width you'd like it to be by simply not building those segments. There are three key components to this build. At first we have the tileable door segments that will determine how wide your door will be. Then we have the redstone circuitry that will activate all those segments. And we have this mechanism to detect when the flying machine / door comes back down. Now let's do the parts list. For the redstone circuitry you will need 5 droppers, 12 observers, 22 repeaters, 21 redstone dust, 1 comparator, 5 sticky pistons, 1 regular piston, 8 slime blocks, 2 honey blocks, 2 furnaces / non-sticky blocks, 1 redstone block and 33 glazed terracotta. For each segment of the door you will need 26 observers, 12 sticky pistons, 1 regular piston, 18 slime blocks, 18 honey blocks, 1 obsidian / unmovable block and 1 glazed terracotta. This means that for my 16 wide door I will need 16 times the materials of each segment. Note that for all glazed terracotta in this build you can also use furnaces or obsidian. Start out by digging a hole that's 10 blocks wide and 25 blocks deep. Depending on how long your door will be, you'll have to dig out a different size hole. My door will be 16 blocks wide and therefore I will have to dig out a hole that's 16 blocks wide, plus an additional 2 blocks on each side of the hole to make sure the slime blocks and honey blocks don't get in contact with any unwanted blocks and to make navigating around it easier. This is 20 blocks in my case, but it will be 12 blocks for a door that's 8 blocks wide, for example. This is going to be the center of the door. This is where both walls of the door will be. And to start off, we're going to build the redstone circuitry that activates each segment. How we're going to do that is by starting to place down a regular block over here, 4 blocks and 2 blocks from the wall, with a dropper on top of it, and 2 glazed terracotta like this. Place 2 slime blocks down like this, with another glazed terracotta block on this side, with an observer pointing upwards with 1 block in between the terracotta and the observer. Place a regular block on top of it with a sticky piston facing upwards, and place a sticky piston facing downwards over here with an observer on the bottom facing towards the dropper. Next, place 2 regular blocks down like this with a sticky piston on top of it, and 3 slime blocks and 1 redstone block on top. Next we're going to place down most of the terracotta and regular blocks we're going to need. So we're going to start by placing 4 glazed terracotta blocks down like this, with 3 more on top of it, and 1 sticking out of it touching the slime blocks, with another one on the other side and 1 next to the redstone block. Place 1 more down like this with a regular block over here, and 2 more glazed terracotta blocks right there. Next we're going to place down 3 more blocks like this with a regular block over here, and the same thing another 2 times like this. So you'll have 4 regular blocks stacked on top of each other right here. Place down another glazed terracotta block over here and 1 on top. Next place down 2 more like this with another one to the side and a block of iron or a regular block over here. Then place down another iron block or regular block here and 1 on top with a gap in between. Next we're going back to this section with the 4 regular blocks on top of each other and place another glazed terracotta block over here, with a upside down slab over here, which I forgot to mention in the items list. And place another regular block over here. Next place down a regular piston just like that, and place another glazed terracotta over here, and 1 to the left in between these regular blocks, and then another one over here. Next take 2 observers and put them down like this, facing to the right, with the face on this side and output on this side, and place a dropper against that. It doesn't really matter in which direction it's facing, could be any direction. Go to these two regular blocks and place another observer facing to the left this time into a sticky piston with an observer facing upwards, just like that. Then place two terracotta over here with a dropper facing upwards and a dropper facing downwards like this, so that they're facing into each other. And by this point you can check if the dropper is level with the floor or not, because it should be. Next, place an observer like this. Two more glazed terracotta like this, with a sticky piston next to it facing downwards. This observer should be facing to the right. And place another observer over here, facing to the left. Next, go ahead and place another observer over here, facing to the left, with two honey blocks on top of it, and a a sticky piston facing downwards, touching the honey blocks. It should all look like this now. Go back to the bottom and place down 3 slime blocks like this. They should be level with these glazed terracotta blocks, and there should be another one to the left of it. And place a regular movable block over here with an observer facing upwards. And there should be a gap in between the piston and the honey blocks. Now we're going to start wiring everything up with the redstone, as all the blocks are in place now. And we're going to start by placing a redstone comparator right here facing into the observer, with the redstone dust to the side. Next, place down 2 repeaters facing into this block with the redstone dust on top of it. Place another repeater facing to the left over here on full delay, so 4 ticks delay. Next, place down 2 redstone dust right here, and this observer should be in this spot. If it's over here, you should move it down. Next, place down another repeater and put it on a 3 ticks delay. Now place down another repeater over here on a 1 tick delay facing into this observer, and another repeater over here and here on 4 ticks delay and 1 tick delay. Place down 2 redstone dust like this, with another repeater on this block facing to the left and another one facing to the right on a 3 tick delay, with another redstone dust on this block. Now place down another redstone dust over here with a repeater facing to the right on a 2 tick delay, like this, so just right click it once. Put down redstone dust on top of this block, and that should be the lowest regular block of these 4. Then place down 2 repeaters like this, and the second one should be on a 2 tick delay and this one just on a 1 tick delay, and another redstone dust on this side of the block. Now place down another repeater on 3 ticks delay, so right click it twice, and another one over here on 3 ticks delay. Now place down 2 more redstone dust over here like that, with 2 repeaters like this, and the second one should be on a 2 tick delay again, just like here, with another redstone dust on this side. Next, place down another repeater over here on a 3 ticks delay, and a redstone dust over here, and another one facing the other direction into this block, which is going to power this piston, also on a 3 tick delay. Place down redstone dust over here. This will move this down, so just put it back in its original position, and put another redstone repeater on this side on 3 ticks delay with 2 more redstone dust connecting this up. The last thing we're going to have to do is go back to the top and go to these 2 droppers and place one item in the top dropper like this. It doesn't matter what item you put in there. It all should look like this now, so just double check if you got everything correct, because all the timings are really precise and you shouldn't mess them up. Now we're going to build the first segment of our door to test if everything works correctly, and if it does, we can build all the other segments and finish the door. To do that, we're going to start by placing down an unmovable block over here like that, with an observer facing towards you from the dropper, with another observer on top and a sticky piston on top of that. Next, place down 2 honey blocks like this, and 6 more on top of the piston, with 2 in the center and an observer facing downwards with a sticky piston that's facing downwards as well. And on top you're going to do the complete opposite with an observer facing upwards and a sticky piston facing upwards. Next, place down 4 slime blocks like this, 4 honey blocks like this, 4 slime blocks like this, and 4 honey blocks like this. This should make this pattern. Next, in each of these segments, place down an observer facing upwards like this, and sticky pistons on top, like that. At last we're going to place down 4 slime blocks over here, and it should line up with the floor. Next we're going to place down all the blocks that will make up the sides of the door. You're going to want to place down 6 regular blocks like this. We're only going to use regular blocks because they have to stick to the slime blocks and honey blocks. And on the other side, place down 8 blocks. Like that. Next, place down all the blocks till you reach the bottom of the door, which is going to be this slime block segment over here. Just like that. And at last, place down 1 glazed terracotta block over here, or 1 obsidian. It doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as it doesn't stick to these honey blocks. Place down an observer facing outwards from this redstone dust, like that, with another observer facing to the left, into this block, which is going to be powering this sticky piston. Next we're going to place down another observer over here, and the way you're going to do that in survival is by sneaking and right clicking the repeater so you don't mess up the timings, and that's quite important. And you're going to place another one facing towards you like this on this side. Next, go ahead and place down 2 observers pointing upwards like this, with a sticky piston on the left side and a regular piston on the most outer side. Place down 1 slime block on top of this sticky piston, with an observer pointing to the left into this repeater, and another observer like this pointing towards you from the redstone, as it will get its signal from this redstone dust. Now go up by 2 blocks and place another observer facing towards you like this, and another one on top, with 1 pointing towards this piston from the bottom observer. On the top observer you're going to place down another observer facing upwards, and this one is going to have to point into a regular block. Next, place down a sticky piston like this, pointing towards this iron block, with another sticky piston on top of it facing upwards. It should be level with this regular block over here. Next, go ahead and place down 1 slime block right here, which should align with the floor. Now we're going to build the mechanism that will detect when the flying machine comes back. You'll only have to build this for the first section of the flying machine. You're going to want to start off by moving this obsidian to the right 1 block, and placing down an observer over here. It should be pointing into this obsidian block, and place down a dropper right here. It doesn't matter in which direction it's facing, just like that. Next, place down another observer over here facing towards this block, which should be a regular block or whatever. Now place 1 redstone dust on top of it, with a regular block to the right like this, with 2 more blocks over here with 2 repeaters on top of it on full delay. Place down a block over here and a block on top of this repeater, and make a little stairway up like this, and place down the last 2 blocks like this. Put down another repeater over here at full delay. It should be facing into this block, which is going to power this redstone dust. And at last place down 3 redstone dust like this. This is going to be the mechanism that will detect when the flying machine comes back. If you've done everything correctly, you can place down 2 blocks on top of here with 2 buttons, which I also forgot to mention in the item list, and cover up this segment like that. I'm just going to remove these blocks real quick. Now we're going to build a little frame around the door so that the flying machine / door doesn't fly up till it hits the build limit. And we can place down our furnaces over here right now, like this. But this could also be obsidian or terracotta or any block that doesn't stick to the slime blocks or honey blocks. Could also just be air, but I think it looks better with the furnace right here. Go up by 16 blocks. Like that. Do this on both sides. Make sure these blocks are all air, or they could also all be furnaces, or again any block that doesn't stick to the honey blocks or slime block. I'm just going to leave it as air right now. And this is going to be the side of the door. This doesn't catch the door at the moment, so you're going to have to place down 6 more blocks like this. And the door should perfectly fit in between this. I also forgot to mention that this block over here has to be a terracotta block. It only has to be a terracotta block for this segment because there are honey blocks on this side. So you can use regular blocks for the rest if you want to. But I'm going to use terracotta or glazed terracotta. Now we're going to test if it actually works, but don't press this button, the button above the droppers, because this only works when there are more than 1 segment. So you need to have at least 2 of these segments. So just press the button with the honey underneath and check if it works. And it does so far. This is also a good way to kinda understand how it's working. Okay, now press this button again to see if it works going down. And if everything is wired up correctly, all the blocks should be returned to their original state, and this should be flush. Because these pistons over here are going to push up these walls, these blocks, so it's flush with the ground. Okay, now we know that this functions. We can just repeat this segment over and over and over again. But there's one important factor, and that's that you have to alternate between using honey blocks and slime blocks. So if there are honey blocks over here, you'll have to use slime blocks over here. So what I like to do when building a segment like this is, especially when I'm creative, just place down all the correct blocks first, and if there's slime, place down honey. If there's honey, place down slime. But in survival, it would probably be more efficient to build everything layer by layer, as you can't fly. So I'm just going to build the second segment, which is probably a smart idea to do first anyways, so you can see if it works. You just have to clone almost everything, except for the fact that you can use regular blocks from here on out instead of this terracotta block over here. And you'll have to place down obsidian over here and continue building this out like that. And you don't need another observer over here because we already have one here, and we only need one to detect when the flying machine comes back. So I'm just gonna quickly build the second segment. Okay, I finished the second segment, and just keep in mind that you do have to use terracotta over here, well, glazed terracotta, or any other immovable block like obsidian or a furnace. And we're just gonna test out if it works, and we can test this button as well now. and as you can see it works perfectly fine. Oh shit, I forgot some blocks here. Ooh, I just saved it. Yeah, don't forget to build the part that catches the door and just extend it out all the way. Okay, let's see if it goes down as well. And it looks like it does. There we go. Perfect. Just make sure you leave these gaps here, because if you don't, it will break. The reason these gaps are here is because we want to move the blocks down by one, like this. These slime blocks and honey blocks will push it down, like this. And now when we activate this machine, as you can see, it will connect with the honey, so that when we make the door go down again, the blocks will stick to it. Also, one slight modification you can make is by extending these slime blocks and honey blocks by one block, like this, for some extra symmetry in the build, but that's purely optional and isn't necessary at all. Okay, now all you have to do is extend these segments all the way to your desired size of the door, and that's what I'm going to do now. And as I want it to be 16 blocks wide, I'll have to add 14 more segments to this. Okay, there we go. I just finished building all my segments and it's now 16 blocks wide. I also built my door one block too far to the right, so just keep that in mind if you're building your own door, because I accidentally messed it up. And to finish it, you can place down 2 more unmovable blocks or non-sticky blocks over here, just like on the other side. I just placed down 2 more furnaces. And just finish up the frame like this. Okay, now it's probably a really good idea to just back up your world, because if you've made a mistake, it will mess up everything and everything will stick to each other, and you most likely have to rebuild the whole flying machine in the center. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna test if the door actually functions. And it does. Just like that. Now we can just cover up the hole like this and hide all the redstone. It also might be a good idea to place down some torches down here if you want to, but I'm not going to because I have mob spawning disabled anyway. Okay, as you can see, the door works perfectly fine, and it's not really secure because the buttons are just on the side of the door, and it's not spam proof. So whilst the door is running, you shouldn't be pressing these buttons, which could be a problem. So now I'm going to show you how to move these buttons and make it spam proof. Okay, so you're going to start by, of course, removing these buttons, and you can remove this piston with the honey block and this observer. You can remove these repeaters, this observer, this sticky piston, these terracotta blocks, this observer, the comparator, and the droppers, just like that. You can also remove these blocks over here. The way we're going to build this spam prevention is by placing down a sticky piston facing up like this, with 3 blocks running out of it, a repeater and 2 redstone dust like this, 2 hoppers running into each other with 4 blocks placed down like so. Next, place down comparators, 2 comparators facing out of these hoppers, which have to be facing into each other like this. Place down 2 redstone dust like this, a piston, sticky piston facing towards the hoppers on this side, and a regular piston on the other side. Next, place down one block over here with a regular piston on top of it. This is going to update this sticky piston over here. Place down one block over here with redstone dust on top of it. One block underneath these hoppers and a repeater running into this block. From here you can run the redstone signal to anywhere you'd want, and you could use a observer or a button or anything really. Any signal going into here will activate the door. Now temporarily remove this redstone dust, place a redstone block on top of this hopper and put 15 items into it, just like this. And this will prevent anyone from spamming the button and breaking your door. And now you can just place down this redstone dust over here and you're finished. Now all you have to do is connect up a button in your world or anything with the door, like this for example. And if you've done everything correctly, it should work and you cannot break your door with spamming the button. And I can try spamming the button and it shouldn't break the door. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. If you have any questions or requests for me, just leave them in the comment section down below. Maybe consider subscribing and I'll see you in a different video. Bye bye.